Welcome! Today, I am excited to present to you the third part of our agent framework comparison. Today, we will be discussing AutoGen. But before we start, don't forget, if you like this video and want to see more, to like and subscribe. I have chosen 3 popular agent frameworks at the time of recording this video. In December 2024, Microsoft AutoGen crewai and langgraph. I will be using the popular OpenAI GPT-4 mini model via its API. I will choose a common use case. I will attempt to highlight the strengths and weaknesses of each of these frameworks. So above all, stay until the end of the video to know the conclusions and see if a clear winner emerges. Let's take a common use case and let's try to determine the strengths and weaknesses of these 3 frameworks: crewai, Microsoft AutoGen, and langgraph. The use case is an analysis of a stock using data from Yahoo Finance and Warren Buffett's investment principles. I will ask the agent, in addition to doing an analysis of the chosen stock, to give a rating of a stock recommendation index. Of course, this is an example to illustrate how these frameworks work, but it absolutely does not constitute investment advice. AutoGen, or AG, is a relatively popular open-source framework. I would even say very popular, released at the end of 2023. It is mainly backed by one university and also Microsoft. It is a multi-agent framework that also has a UI, a nearly no-code graphical interface called AutoGen Studio. There is a bit of confusion with AutoGen because recently there was a fork between classic AutoGen, or AG version 0.2, and Microsoft's rewrite of AutoGento version 0.4. This is a big divide, I would say, between the open-source community that continues to back the historical AutoGen and Microsoft. I decided to present our stock analyst example with AutoGen Studio. Although I could have done it directly with AutoGen, I prefer to do it with AutoGen Studio because it is more visual. AutoGen Studio is a project that started open source but is now closed source, which was initiated by Microsoft, and is a graphical UI tool on top of AutoGen, which will allow us to represent the different projects in a more structured way. We will start with the different components of our workflow. In the middle, we have our agents. We have 2 agents, a user proxy and a Fareed First Assistant. These 2 agents will communicate together in a workflow. These agents will use skills, which are equivalent to the tools we have in other frameworks, like the Yahoo Finance stock skill to fetch financial data of a stock, to read the files we will need and write the result. And finally, our agent will use a model, here GPT-4 Mini. We see here our workflow in action, where we have a user agent proxy into which we pass our prompt and our React agent that will carry out the work. We can also see all the messages exchanged between the 2 agents, the user proxy and the Fareed First agent, which does the bulk of the work. We see that it proceeds step by step. At each step, it determines a plan. Then it uses skills. We see the result of each step. And then, at the end, we see the final message, summarizing what has been done. In the end, we have our result, which is the analysis of our stock on NVIDIA and also its rating. And we see that the analysis will be written in a stock analysis file using our skills write file. Another very interesting feature of AutoGen Studio is the ability to export the workflow, as we see on the left, in JSON, and execute it through simple Python code by installing the AutoGen Studio package through a workflow. We simply pass the prompt to it, as we would have done with the graphical interface, and we request execution of the workflow with the Workflow Manager. Finally, with the AutoGen Studio serve command, we can serve our JSON workflow directly via a REST endpoint. On the left, using Face API, we have an example call where we pass our prompt, and we see that there is a result. It is now time to take stock of our evaluation of AutoGen. we see obvious strengths. T is a powerful and high-performing framework. It is also a very popular framework on GitHub, with over 30,000 stars. There is a UI, AutoGen Studio, which really makes things easier. And finally, we have several execution environments available through AutoGen Studio. In the weaknesses, and this is what is most concerning, there is a recent fork and a name change. With the original community is going one way, and on the other side, Microsoft has started a new project and a rewrite, with a view to merging it with semantic kernel. That's the end of this evaluation of AutoGen. If you want to go further and explore it by yourself, feel free to clone my repository, which will be in the description. And with that, have a great day, take care, and don't miss the last episode of this series, where we will do a comparative analysis of the 3 leading brands. Thank you.